And Tibetan language is one among the 15 oldest languages in this world. And today, Tibetan dictionary composed of 223 volumes, which is the most voluminous dictionary in the world. So that itself signifies how important Tibetan language is. And we have transliterated every available Sanskrit text into Tibetan those days from 8th to 13th century. And we are proud to be a repository of one part of ancient Indian wisdom. The reason why Chinese government is asking other governments to say Tibet is part of China is because they know they have no legitimacy of their rule in Tibet, and they are trying to seek that legitimacy from the international community who knows nothing or very little about Tibet's history. I also wish to emphasize the need to support peaceful resolutions to conflicts in this violence-ridden world. Thank you very much.
That's the reason why China says, well, Tibet was already part of China before 1950, and that's the reason why when we sent soldiers into Tibet in 1950, it was okay. It was not an invasion. Moreover, the PRC constantly claims that the Western countries have been bullying them in the 19th and the 20th century, and also China is a permanent member of the UN Security Council, so China cannot use the justification of just as a fair military conquest. Actually, we talked a lot of patriotic Chinese. In fact, even some of the Westerners, they are aware of this principle, and they often contradict by saying that throughout history, everybody conquers others. So what? So we conquered Tibet fair and square in 1950. So actually one of the major reasons why countries like the USA or United Kingdom or Germany have not been willing to provide more support to Tibetan is that they believe that Tibet has been part of China for a long time.
Today many people assume, and they're not quite sure why, but they assume that Tibet has been a part of China for an extremely long time. And this is really a problem that needs to be addressed. Again, the status of Tibet today for you is particularly easy to understand because today's status of Tibet is the same as the status was of Estonia when it was under Soviet occupation. And there, the fact that Estonia was occupied for 5 decades didn't mean that the Soviet occupation had become legitimate. The length of time that Estonia was occupied did not turn the annexation of Estonia by Russia into a legal annexation by Russia of Estonia. And exactly the same applies to the annexation of Tibet since 1951. So China doesn't claim any other grounds for its sovereignty over Tibet today except its historical narrative, which it has created. The international community, or many countries in it, have started to buy into China's narrative. But these kind of statements that Tibet is part of China, made by our governments, is in fact also, and this I think is important, a serious violation of international law by our governments.
I want to talk a little bit about the colonialist nature of Chinese rule in Tibet, which one aspect of the current Tibetan situation that has been insufficiently highlighted, even though it is fundamental to the understanding the context for much of what is happening in Tibet, is the profoundly colonialist nature of Chinese rule in Tibet. Like all colonial and imperial powers, Chinese have taken full control of Tibet's territory, political economy by means of violent military aggression. Colonialism is also characterized by several important elements such as dehumanization, brutal violence, social and cultural upheaval, erasure of language, customs, national identity, all which are abundantly present in China's illegal occupation of Tibet. I would like to ask Estonian Parliament and the communities to help and do whatever is possible in your power to voice for Tibet. Thank you so much for hearing me. Thank you.